Good morning, everybody. It's Leah. I would like to welcome you back to another warm-up session here with the Adult Fitness Program. Today we're going to be working on just some stability, mobility, balance, and some stretches to help you start your day or cool down, whatever feels best for you. As always, make sure you have some water. Let somebody know what you're up to. I have some pets in my room, so they may join us on our workout today. So feel free to take it as you wish, challenge by choice per usual. I will offer any modifications, so take what you feel you'd like to today. It is all about being comfortable and enjoying ourselves. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to come to standing. Our feet are going to be in a neutral distance, about hip width apart. Shake it out a little bit here. And we're going to make some big arm circles back. Big, slow, and intentional. Take note and see if you feel any tension in one side more than the other. And then we're slowly going to make them smaller and smaller and smaller. The smaller they get and the faster they will get a little bit more challenging. Slowly starting to warm up that shoulder girdle. Hold for a few more seconds here. And rest. Nice. Swing it out. Whew, shake it out. And now we are going to be going in the opposite direction. So take big sweeping motions forward like you're Michael Phelps in that Olympic pool. Working that shoulder mobility here. Slowly getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Those shoulders are going to start to warm up. Feel a little bit tired. Whew. Good. Bring it on down. Shake it out here. Don't have your shoulders up by your ears. Just keep them nice and relaxed. For our next one, it's kind of challenging, to be honest. I struggle with it. We're going to bring both of our hands above our head, and we're going to let one fall forward and one fall back. So from the side, it's going to look like this. Trying to intentionally keep them at the same pace. It's so hard. And then we're going to switch it. So whatever arm was going forward is going to go backwards now. So try and think very carefully about meeting them back up at the top. I learned how to do that a couple years ago because it helps with your hands, being able to do other things with your hands. So if you're ever struggling to complete a task with your left hand, go ahead and give this a try. And see if you can help that left hand catch up with your right hand, or whatever your dominant hand is. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and start with our lower body. So I'm going to tilt you a little bit here. You're more than welcome to grab onto a structure while we are on one leg, or if you would like to challenge yourself and take a progression, you can go ahead and get a pillow, put that on the ground, and add some uneven surfaces underneath your feet. That's always a great challenge, but we're going to start by soft bend in our standing leg, and then we're going to bring one leg up. We're going to be at a 90-degree angle, and we are going to draw some circles with our ankle. Big circles, point and flex your foot as full as you can, and then switch directions. Keeping that standing leg at 90 degrees, our floating leg at 90 degrees. Very nice. I don't know if you can hear that, but my ankle is clicking for you. Nice singing ankle there. Go ahead and switch sides. And make some big range of motion here. Flex and point. Switch directions. Very nice. All right, so our next movement is going to build on top of that movement. We're going to go ahead, find our standing leg again. Come up to a 90-degree angle. Our hips are going to try and keep them even. I don't want your hip all the way up. Try and keep some neutral hips here. So they're square. They're both facing the same direction and about the same height. And from our knee joint, we are going to draw a circle with our toes. I challenge you to keep your face neutral and your hands quiet. Because a lot of people don't recognize during this movement that their hands follow. And switch directions. Good. Keep that face neutral and those hands quiet. And rest. Whew. Feeling a little bit warm. Doing super good. Take a second here. We're going to switch legs. We're going to come up to that 90 degrees. I'll show you a different angle this time. And draw some circles. Keep those hands quiet and your face quiet. Switch directions. Good. Go ahead and rest. Keep in mind, you can always be holding on to something or standing on an uneven surface during that workout, whatever feels best to you. Whew. So now that we have made some circles with our ankle joint and our knee joint, now you're going to make some circles with our hip joint. So we are going to stand on one leg nice and strong, and this time we are going to point our heel. So we are going to flex our foot as hard as we can, and imagine that your heel has like a marker attached to it, and we're going to draw great big circles leading with our heel. We're going to start backwards and bring it on forwards. Good. Whatever pace you want to take this at is totally fine. This is your warm-up. It is your body. Shake it out. Let your hips relax for a second. Switch legs. And hip forward. Woo. I always find it's helpful to look at one spot. And backward. Last one. And there my hands go. Trying so hard to keep my hands quiet. It's not always easy. So now that we've run through that, that is called a neuro warm-up. I learned it at my personal training job at the rec, and it's basically called a neuro warm-up because you actually have to actively think about all those movements as you're doing them. So we're going to run through that one more time. So we're going to start with our arms above our head, and we're going to run them opposite directions. So one goes forward, one goes back 3 times, 2 and 3, and switch, 1, 2, and 3. I feel like I messed up on that one, but I honestly can't tell sometimes. Great, and then we are gonna go ahead and move on to our lower body again. So we're gonna bring it on back, make that 90-degree angle. We're gonna make circles with our ankle, and then switch directions 3 times. Good. And switch, circle with that ankle, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Now we're going to make the circles with our knee joint up to 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3. Back, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And back for 2 and 3. Draw some circles with our heels. 1, 2, 3. And back, 2, 3. Very nice. 1, 2, 3. And back, 2, 3. Very nice. Go ahead and shake out your hips, grab some water, take whatever you need to here. Pause the video if you would like. We're going to move to the floor. So I'm going to make sure that you can see me for some back mobility as well as some upper body work. So we're going to start with a pose that is pretty common in yoga. So if y'all have any yoga experience, that will be very, very helpful here. So we're going to start in a neutral position called tabletop. Our hands are going to be below our elbows, which are below our shoulders, and our knees are below our hips, about hip-width distance apart. So this is called tabletop. And from here, we are going to breathe in, drop our belly, our hips come up to the sky, and our head comes up to the sky. This is called cow. And then, when we breathe out, we are going to push the ground away, round our shoulders, tuck our belly in our tailbone, and reach our spine towards the sky. Breathe in, cow. Exhale, cat. This motion is super good for opening up your spine. And obviously take whatever range of motion feels best to you. Everybody has a different baseline of flexibility and comfort. So breathe out and in. Gauge how you're feeling here, out. And let's do cow one more time. And then we will return to a neutral tabletop. Wag your body a little bit. See how you feel. From here, we're going to start in neutral tabletop to work on some lower body strength. So we're going to go into some rear glute kicks or donkey kicks. We're going to come into that neutral tabletop, lining all of our joints on the top and the bottom up. And we are going to use our glute to kick up and behind us. So while I'm here, my back is staying completely neutral. Sometimes clients may have the tendency to arch their back. That is not necessary, so I want you to just keep in mind and protect your lower back here by just using that glute to kick that foot up. If you would like to add a little bit of an extra challenge here, we can go ahead and pulse at the top for a few seconds. So you come up and pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back down and then come back up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So go ahead and feel free to take that progression if you'd like to. We're going to go ahead and switch to the next leg. We're going to do a couple of baseline reps. And then if you would like to on this side as well, pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That pulse is just coming from your glute. So feel that activation in the very back. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Come on down. Whew. Shake it out. From here, we're going to work on some more intrinsic hip strength rather than just glute strength. So we're going to lie down on the floor. This exercise is called a clamshell, and you guys will see why in just a second. So we're going to lie down. You're going to use our elbow to support our head. Obviously, if you'd like to, have something soft underneath you. Both of our knees are going to be bent at about a 90-degree angle. And imagine that there are hinges between your ankles and your hips. So from here, we're going to be hinging open using our intrinsics of our hip to open our legs like a clamshell. Another way to progress this exercise and make it a little more difficult is to extend our legs fully. So you can always fully extend your legs and bring your leg forward and behind the resting leg. These are called hip abductors, abductors. So hip abductors for a challenge. Our baseline exercise, our foundational exercise is clamshells. So go ahead and take 2 more here. 1 and 2. Very nice. Go ahead, come on up and switch sides. You can always just roll over, but I want to make sure that you guys can see me. Go ahead, come down slowly. Make that hinge between your ankles and your hips, and clamshell open for 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take that progression if you would like to, and say hi to your dog. Go ahead and straighten those legs for that progression of hip abductors. So forward and back. Excuse me, Murphy. Forward and back. Forward and back. And come back to clamshells if you would like to for 1 and 2. Beautiful. All right, from here, we're going to come onto our stomach and work our upper body. So we're going to go into a pose called Cobra. So I'm going to show you from a few angles. Just bear with me for a second. So for Cobra, our legs are zipped up together like we are a snake. And then we're going to come down. Our chest is going to be on the floor. And we are going to very gently have our hands right to our sides. From here, we are going to squeeze our glutes and our lower back very slightly to elevate our chest just the littlest bit. And we're going to bring our hands up in front of us and back down to field goal our arms. So from a different angle, it's going to look like this. Field goal those arms and straighten them at the bottom and at the top in a Superman position. So this is going to work our shoulders, back, and lower back. If you would like to progress this exercise, you are more than welcome to float your feet at the top. So when you squeeze your glutes and lower back, your feet can come off the ground while you are performing your Superman to field goal exercise, or those feet can hang out on the floor. Take 2 more here. And 1. Good. Go ahead, hands come down. And rise back up. Whew. That was a good one. We're going to do a quick chest stretch here as well. Open up that chest. It's really important to have our chest be open and strong so our posture can shine through. We can show our heart to the world. So we're going to go ahead, come back to the ground one more time. We're going to extend one arm out, and we are very gently going to use the other arm to push us just the littlest bit over. Go ahead and take your leg and kickstand it, and just slowly, slowly lean onto that extended arm so your pec muscle can stretch out. Go ahead and switch and twist very gently onto the extended arm. Kickstand that foot in the back. Take a couple seconds to breathe on each side. Whew. And come on up and rise. Whew. We're going to finish up with some static hip flexor stretches. Personally, I have a lot of issues with my hip flexors, especially because I sit all day. So we're going to go ahead and extend extend both feet. We're going to bring our knees up, and then we're going to topple them over to one side. So I call this position 90-90 because we are in two 90-degree angles. We're going to fan them out a little bit. So we have our two 90-degree angles, and then we're going to walk our hands gently backwards, and you are going to feel a huge stretch in one of your hip flexors. So in this case, my knees are pointed to the left, and I am feeling the stretch in my right hip flexor. So take a couple of big deep breaths here. Whatever feels good to you. Come back to that seated position where our knees are facing the sky. I'm going to drop my knees down to the right. And now I feel a big stretch in my left hip flexor. Feel if there's any discrepancies here. My left hip flexor is a little bit tighter, so I don't lean as far back. So obviously gauge what you need here. Take what you want from this pose. We're going to meet in a standing position in just a second. Come all the way up to standing. Let's bring our arms up above our head. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Lean to one side. Open up that side body. Switch directions. And hands come quiet. Shake it out. Grab some water. Give your pet a high five. Whatever feels good to you. I hope that all of you have an excellent morning or night whenever you are watching this. And thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.